June in West Bengal, India, right before the monsoon arrives, is physically punishing. The humidity climbs toward 90%, and the temperature along the banks of the Ganges River routinely spikes to 50 degrees Celsius, about 122 degrees Fahrenheit. If you find yourself in the village of Panihati during this sweltering season, you'll encounter a menu engineered specifically for thermal relief. Thousands of people gather for the Chida-dadhi Mahotsav to eat massive quantities of chipped rice, cooling yogurt, sweet kheer, and fresh camphor. The crowds for this feast grow so immense that the riverbanks simply run out of room. To find space to eat, many attendees wade directly into the Ganges, balancing their meals while standing waist-deep in the water. Every bowl of cooling yogurt served in the river acts as a living historical artifact, tracing back to a 500-year-old decree. Food at this event is distributed using thousands upon thousands of these traditional round terracotta pots to accommodate the staggering number of attendees. This massive community gathering actually began as a penalty handed down to a runaway billionaire. The origin of the festival wasn't a formal religious rite. It was a messy public collision between a teacher and a student. 5 centuries ago, a young man named Raghunatha Dasa lived a life of immense privilege. Text compared his opulence to a heavenly king. However, Raghunatha harbored a desperate, burning desire to abandon his wealth and live as an absolute ascetic. He repeatedly tried to leave. Night after night, he would sneak away, only for his father's guards to track him down in some distant place and drag him back. His escapes became a frustrating, almost daily routine. Eventually, Raghunatha figured out a way to slip the net for good. He made his way to the village of Panihati, hoping to join the inner circle of the revered spiritual teacher, Lord Nityananda. To a man craving spiritual liberation, a sprawling estate and endless resources act as a golden prison, setting up the ultimate test of what he was willing to give up. Arriving in Panihati, Raghunatha spotted Lord Nityananda sitting on a rock beneath a tree on the banks of the Ganges, glowing with intense radiance. Intimidated, Raghunatha fell to the ground, offering his respects from a safe distance. Nityananda spotted him hiding and playfully called out, "You are a thief. Now you have come to see me. Come here, come here. Today I shall punish you." The sentence was highly specific. Raghunatha had to use the massive wealth he despised to throw a festival, feeding all of Nityananda's associates with chipped rice and yogurt. This map illustrates the sheer logistical scale of the problem. As priests, scholars, and thousands of locals poured in, Raghunatha realized he didn't have nearly enough supplies. He sent his men out, drawing eatables from every neighboring village. Looking at this chart, you can see the exponential scale of ingredients required. Raghunatha acquired hundreds of clay pots and massive earthen vats just to soak the raw chipped rice in hot milk, creating a sudden explosion of supply chain logistics on the riverbank. By forcing Raghunatha to foot the bill, Nityananda brilliantly converted the young man's greatest burden, his material fortune, into an immediate, profound asset for the entire community. With the massive crowds finally served, the festival reached its peak. According to the texts, Lord Nityananda entered a state of deep meditation and mystically summoned the presence of his divine counterpart, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The 2 divine brothers began walking through the dense groups of eaters, playfully feeding each other morsels of chipped rice from the pots. The atmosphere immediately shifted into pure, ecstatic joy. As the crowds chanted and ate, their perception of the landscape began to change. For those present, the muddy banks of the Ganges were no longer West Bengal. They were the sacred sands of the Yamuna River. The physical meal became a miraculous, temporary recreation of the divine realm right there on earth. In the aftermath of this massive feast, Raghunatha finally secured his escape. He successfully severed ties with his family estate for good, traveling by foot to Jagannath Puri. The former billionaire entirely rejected his past opulence. Toward the end of his life, his absolute renunciation meant he survived solely by drinking small amounts of buttermilk out of simple folded banana leaf cups. Raghunatha's public sentence on the riverbank delivered the precise act of mercy he needed to permanently cut his material attachments. If you look closely at the modern-day Panihati festival menu, you will still find those simple banana leaf cups of buttermilk being served, deliberately honoring Raghunatha's extreme dedication. The festival was born to settle a debt, but it grew into an annual celebration of that specific afternoon under the tree. In the 50-degree heat of Panihati, that cooling yogurt is more than a meal. It's a reminder of a 500-year-old punishment that nobody wanted to end.